Hello everyone. Sound check, sound check. Can you hear me loud and clear? Hello, yes, great, awesome. How are we doing today? You're looking awesome today. Thank you very much. Thank you. How are you guys doing today? No patch today. No patch today.
Oh my god, another one.
Haku TV, thank you for the subscription. 8 months on a 7-month streak. That is awesome. Thank you very much. Only pet armor. Yeah, so I haven't had much time to put together new stuff. As you know, every week time runs fast and we have a patch around the corner that we are getting close to deliver. That is important to have in place before we start ramping up the TC stress test phase that we're going to enter. Alright, Henrik, in the upcoming patch, are we going to be able to have our turbirds attack while we are riding them? No, you can't attack at the same time as you are mounted at this point in time. Hunger fast until the patch comes out. That's not good. 3 days, but more than that, not good. But yeah, we are preparing our patch that we mentioned. Again, I want to refrain from setting dates. However, we are so far on plans to actually deliver that patch next week. If things goes as planned, that is. So that is our estimate currently. We'll be able to dominate satyrs. I'm not sure if those should be dominatable. Only specific minds can be tamed or dominated. Alright, I will win already. Yes. How can you dominate a Mino, but not Satyr? Well, of course, there are some lore explanation behind that. That is a little bit more Matt's apartment. But the Minotaur were actually used as a guardian in the ancient past times. That's kind of what you're tapping into. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure with the status when it comes to the Satyrs. I would have to go through some things with Mats. No update today, no patch today. It is planned for next week if things goes as planned, that is. We are wrapping things up and testing and making sure we are in a good place. Whoa. Give the jungle man what we want. Dominate the satyrs. We will have to take a look on that. My throat. Woo! Sorry. I do look a little orange. I don't know why. I am not orange. I don't know if it's the light in the room or some reflection or what's going on. Razorback will be mountable, but not in his first patch. Do they have carrots? No. The thing is, I only look orange on the stream. If I look in the mirror, I don't look orange. So it's something with my camera or setup here that makes it a little bit orange. My throat is a little bit Strange today.
Oh my god, another one.
Oh my
Another
god.
one.
We got a Slopiest Joe with the gift. Thank you very much. Gift a total 149 in the channel. That is awesome. Thank you very much. Makeup. Never. I don't wear anything ever on my face. Been on a summer holiday, bro? No, not that either. I'm like I said, it's something on the camera. I don't know if it's some settings on the camera or what's going on. I look quite much more pale than I do here on my stream when I'm looking at it as well. Drized with the 10 gifts. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Do you have any plans to attract more players to the game? Yes, we do have major plans actually when it comes to that apartment. You know, as many of you already know, we have certain milestones we want to reach before we, you know, push the big guns when it comes to marketing, having it new player experience friendly, and starting that again. So we don't wanna rush things to make sure that we get the game in a proper position, and we don't wanna rush obviously marketing now without having those steps in place. When that is in place, TC and Epic Games content, those two main patches, when those are set, that's when we pick up marketing, influencers, everything we put on hold when we did the stress test, when things were actually exploding. You know, also releasing on the Epic platform. That's when we focus on obviously bringing in a lot of new players and old, bringing them back, and also making sure that it has a certain polished, and also the new player experience should be greatly improved based on the numbers and data we're looking at now, and the feedback on how new players experience the game from start without knowing anything. Bane Spike TV, thank you very much for the Prime. 22 months. Awesome. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Yeah, sorry. We can. I will proceed to the next topic here, guys. I gave a little short update on the current status and what our planned patch are looking for. Hopefully next week is the plan, so we can get that one step closer to the TC testing. Anuxa, thank you very much for the subscription. 50 month. Thank you. Hello Henrik, thank you for the game. Still having a lot of fun since I started in the beta. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We all do here at Starvolt. Yeah, I got a little orange away now when I got the reflection down. Alright. Can we get a troll and horse spawn on the sunken island, please? So one of the big thing for Epic Game patch, and also some in between steps we're making, we actually have a huge overall distribution of points of interest and spawners in different kinds, and we actually have a few new mechanics that I think you'll be a little surprised about when you see them arrive. There may be a few of them already in this next patch, and there will be a lot more of those types in the upcoming patches. And that is pretty much to spice things up when you're wandering around in the world. There will be some surprises, and there will be more things to hunt and get rewards from. So I think that's a good thing for everyone that wanna adventure in different forms. And I know you're a huge fan of Star Wars Galaxies. Would you have any interest in playing with me? In the good old Star Wars Galaxies, you mean? So yes, I did play the original when it released, and it during the golden years before they changed it and put it down. And I actually tried one of those free servers a few years later, but it wasn't really the same thing, I actually tried it a few years ago one more time when they said it was, you know, more as it was back in the days, but still not really the good old feeling and nostalgia is quite hard to get back when so many years have passed, right? But we're getting those goodies that we very much enjoyed in that game in Immortal Line 2 in a more modern version. So, you know, hopefully we will be enjoying a lot of that content in Immortal Line as well over time. Bring back thieving. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. We need to be patient and get things correct done before we start ramping in more content. Is having your mount attack while riding just come later or never? So in my design, it's actually supposed to support giving commands such as charge, kicking, bite for some creatures using Beastmaster when you're mounted. But we don't have fully support for that right now, so we will have to revisit those functions later. How's Unreal 5 coming? Any cool updates? So we're not doing very fancy stuff right now when it comes to Unreal Engine updates, other than cleaning up the pipes pretty much and optimizing everything so we can have enough headroom to, you know, be able to enjoy the really cool eye candy that Unreal 5 have to offer. One of the big thing, obviously, lumens requires some quite new hardware, and it does take some performance from your game. So we want to make sure that you have that optional, and also that there's enough headroom to actually enjoy that if you have the hardware for it. But also, our goal is to make sure that anyone that play the game today get a performance update just switching over to Unreal Engine 5 without any whistles and bells running, and you should have an overall improved experience. And then obviously, like I said, you'll be able to option enable lumens and such. That is the plan. So we're working a lot of those things, which isn't very exciting, you know, just transferring content, optimizing, and so forth in the world. But we will have some updates soon as well regarding that. Unreal 5 next week? No. Next week is the pre-TC patch. Some important component going in, also on the server side. Again, some of the final big optimization going in on server side. And then, as you know, we have the mountables. We have magic going in, and some very important fixes and quality of life things as well that I also mentioned a little bit last stream. You know, for instance, being able to name a bag is obviously a good, nice quality of life function that we also add. Yes, we actually plan to reduce the damage penalty at the half durability on a weapon. I agree. I don't think it makes full sense to start breaking the quality of it already at 50% durability. Obviously, that means we are throwing away a lot of weapons that have half durability left. So we do plan to reduce that a bit. I can't say exactly where that goes in our table though, but that is planned for, yes. When is the patch? Plan for next week if everything goes as planned. That is, I want to make that as a big disclaimer. We don't set any dates, but the plan are looking to be next week. So not this week, Chronicot. Next, hopefully. Honey? Do we need honey? All right, let me jump down a little bit here, and then I think we will proceed on my topic today. we are looking into when it comes to overall balance. You know, like I said before, we have different groups, guilds, veterans that are participating in feedback and such. And also we are taking a look in the game what people are doing and saying without knowing we're actually looking. And that's obviously good for us to gather that full picture so we don't do any rushed changes or wrong changes that doesn't align with our design and goals and future content, but also obviously align with what's good for the game, right? There's a few pointers we are looking at and discussing a little bit that we believe could be good tweaks to put the game in a solid position. Because as many of you know, a lot of things will affect a lot of things, but comes later, such as special abilities, parry, shield breakers, and so on. And obviously it's hard to evaluate or estimate, should we wait that long, or is there any proper additions, updates we can do to have it in as good position as possible while we proceed to upcoming content like that. Balric, thank you very much for the subscription. 22 months. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That is awesome. One more hair customization option, nicer hair colors. Cassandra, yes, we have actually a batch of additional hair and beard types for all the clades. But a little bit like we said before, so we had this decision. Again, we know that obviously we want some things now rather than later, right? But we are here for the long run, right? We want it to be a reward and professions for the players to tap into new hairstyles, dye, stuff like that, from rare to common, and then allow you as a player to discover that and choose those options and offer them to other players if you want to or not. And that will allow you to look more unique and different from, you know, the starting selection we have. But yeah, you know, obviously we want more of that for sure, and we are getting it. We already have one batch, as I said, for all of them, but we have decided not to put them in character creation at this point because we want a really nice pack to go with that profession. Again, you know, we don't have the exact date when we plan to deploy that system. You will help us to decide those features down the road. So, but it's some important things for the long run. I think that we need to make sure we don't spoil some things, right? RE5 is cool, but keep in mind most important is performance, content, class balance, and general world balance. Good support and graphics is the last one. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So obviously we don't just want to stress over to Unreal 5 and put on those super eye candies and you know try to make awareness due to that, right? We want to make sure the game always speaks for itself, and along with that transition we actually have done a lot of hard work to make sure, like I said, performance and stability is number one, right? So you can enjoy the game as much as possible. And of course, it's a nice bonus to be able to see some really nice additional graphic settings that just pushes the boundaries even further if you want to enable those and if you have the hardware to support that, right? Naming bag. How about making dye tubes? Yeah, so dye tube is one system that we're gonna add to the game as well, which allows you to color bags and gear, armors, clothing, banners, and such. Again, we don't have the dye system and the guild logo emblem design system. We wanted it for TC, but it really wrecks our plans. We had to rework a lot of the plans over this last year, as you know, since Steam release, and make sure we deliver what you want the most and we need the most in the game. So we will get to them, but we don't have them for TC, unfortunately. We'll eventually be able to ride creatures with strange bodies like Tegmontons and Kalinus. Yeah, there will be absolutely strange creatures you will be able to mount as long as you can, it's, you know, there's some physical space for it and it's under your control.
My God, another one.
So yeah, we're just starting with 1 pack in this next patch, and then over time you will see more of our creatures being mountable. We are even debating, you know, if you should be able to mount Minotaurs somehow, or how that would work and look and fit. We're not sure about all of those yet, but obviously most of the animals, creatures that we have already are completely fine to mount. Let me scroll down a little bit. I'm a little bit behind, sorry.
Oh my God, another
Fat
one.
Duck Gaming, thank you very much for the subscription. 70 month. Why do you do this to me? Good question, but we appreciate all of your support, guys, and you know, it's awesome to be part of this journey, and really awesome to see when you play the game, enjoy the game. You know, we're always lurking in the background. I enjoy, always have some streams running in the background. It's really good insight information as well at first hand, and you know, we're taking some big leaps very soon, which I know many of you guys have been waiting on for too long, right? But we're getting there. Make more features to make the game respect your time. The game is too time consuming for boring stuff. Hot master. So obviously that is also an important component, right? We always thrive to make a believable, fully living world, you know, similar to our world in many cases. Obviously, you know, we want to make sure that the game is as exciting as possible, rewarding with risk reward, and a lot of different gaming settings to choose from for different play styles and players worldwide. And it also differs obviously a lot for many. Many enjoy the tactical, slow-paced era of gaming environments, while some want to go straight into battle, teleport straight to the battle, had a fight done, and repeat. You know, obviously it's a very big difference on all those different settings, and you know, obviously we fully understand that there's so many players out there, and we will all have our different opinions, right? But of course, we'll always try to make sure there's as little boring downtime as possible. We have identified some of the things where we think this will absolutely spice things up, and we'll do some of that. You know, already only having the possibility to have so many more mountable creatures. You know, we have seen people struggle with, shit, I lost my horse, now I have to run for a very long time to the next horse spawner. Obviously now you can just find a wolf or a Wyzant or a Terrorboard or a cat, you know, any of those creatures over time, right? All of them won't be in one patch, but over time you will be able to pretty much mount anything, right? And not only that, if you lost your horse and your friend have a horse, you just mount on his horse and off you go again. Obviously a nice system to have in your place because it's a large world, right? And like I said, we want to make sure that the world is more exciting, there's more points of interest, more conflicts, more hotspots, so you don't have to feel that, you know, should I go to the other side of the world to participate, or can I find something more nearby and enjoy that? Stuff like that is obviously something that we see we can add to the game now. We have good plans for it, and I think, you know, everyone will benefit from that. It's just more of content, right? The Josan with the Prime 12 month, long life and prosperity. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I want to mount a Springbok for sure. I'll use him like a pit bike. Springbok, eh? Yeah, we haven't covered a Springbok yet in this patch. As you know, if you remember since my last stream, so what do we have? We have the domestic pigs, we have the wolf types, dire and normal wolves, we have the terror birds, and we have the multiple players on one horse, which is a really kick-ass feature. I think it looks really awesome. So yeah, you know, we're starting with that, and then we will continue down the road. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna jump down a bit because I'm falling quickly behind. Sorry about that. So if I'm missing something, point it back again. Hey Henrik, my wife and I just started playing. I love that you don't hold our hands too much. You and the team have done a great job. Just wanted to say thank you. Here's to many happy memories, I hope. Though we're not out of haven yet. Xiathil, or how you pronounce that. Thank you very much. And like I said, it's really awesome to hear new players slowly finding the game without actually us committing to any marketing whatsoever, because I think that more of the new players will have a much greater chance to actually really get into the game when we have that a little bit more refined, polished first experience, but also in general, you know, making sure we don't have any nasty bugs. But yeah, it's really awesome to hear that we have a pretty good flow of new players finding their way in and having enjoying yourself already in the game, what we have to offer so far. And that's awesome to see that the core foundation, even though obviously we have a bit more to go before we are fully happy there to start a big scaling up and marketing, it's really nice to see we have a positive trend overall. That's obviously very solid, and again, without the spicy things that many veterans are looking forward to, like the TC content. We've seen some games release with only TC focus and have a huge spike, a lot of action is really cool, but after that action slows down, it's like, why? We need something more depth, more core foundation. And I think we are in that side already. We have more of that, and we're lacking, obviously more of the TC and conflicts and those things. So getting that in place with a, solid core, I think is, exciting times for Mortal Online, and it's going to be very exciting to move ahead with those in place. And yeah, obviously, it's cool to see partners joining in the game and enjoying it together. Obviously, it's a game that really do shine when it comes to teaming up with a friend or family member or such. Obviously, it gives a little bit more awesomeness in the gaming experience, I think. Today, I can't really commit to a game if it isn't, fully multiplayer or preferably large-scale MMO, because it has enough value then to me to commit my time. It feels more worth it when I'm in a living world with tons of players. I did enjoy a lot, obviously tons of games, even single-player games. But today it's almost like it's not enough anymore. That's how it is for me, at least personally. I don't know how about you guys, but it feels like I have to have that certain threshold to have, commit the investments today. Jakub, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. On a worst day, Mortal Kombat 2 is still the best game out. Thank you very much, Justin. I keep an eye on your streams every now and then, as you know. And it's awesome to watch you guys play the game. It's really cool to see all the different play styles as well, streaming our game. Some murderous people, some really nice RP playing events, and just some really chill people in general. It's really cool to see. Go Shaq. Hey Henrik, I haven't been playing MO2 since open beta a year or two ago. I hope you and your studio is doing well. Thank you very much. Absolutely. We are getting to the juice finally. Love the game. Keep the updates coming. Had an idea for the Troll Minotaur. Make him hold you on his arm, then on his shoulders. You mean as a mount possibility? That's interesting, yes. Hear your best goblin voice. Let me hear your best goblin voice. Fill in the white. What do I have a goblin voice? I'm not sure if I do. I'm not sure. Mange Marad. Hi Henrik, thank you for the game. Was wondering if you have a thought about it more to have a giveaway for members who have been playing since launch, in order to thank them for their dedication. What kind of giveaway are you referring to, so I follow what you mean? All right, I'm way behind again, guys. So sorry for that. I'm trying to catch up by scrolling down a little bit more swiftly now. I'm not sure if I have a goblin voice. I have to play my little Shiva or something, get into my role, my character. Cosmetic for strongholds and such will be after Epic Games. Now we have the more general style, I would say. It's not really specific for any of the clades, but over time we plan to offer more of those styles and options. Wasn't talking about traveling. Is stated that there is no reward for exploring and doing stuff in general, and that's exactly what I was responding to, Ranger Boy. So I've heard a lot of groups complaining on the traveling and a few horses, so that's being covered, obviously, right? Like I said. And I also said we are adding hotspots, points of interest, and specific new functional spawners, dynamic spawners. They're going to spice things up, and you're going to see a little bit of it already starting now. So yeah, we're actually getting both of that. That was his question. So yes, absolutely. Points of interest era, like yeah. So we're lacking one function to secure points of interest chests. That's why we can't go crazy on them. So yeah, you have to be lucky now. You know, we see a huge amount of players visiting all of them over time, and obviously that means you're depleting them, right? But every now and then, one of you are lucky and hitting that jackpot. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So obviously we need to be careful, right? But yes, we are fully aware, and we have some function for that as well coming, to make sure that there are more proper walls for you when you're going there, right? All right, Melquibaros, thank you for the prime. 11 month, impressive. I will have to jump in the game and play my character, and we can do some goblin voicing. Haven free to play when? So after Epic Game release, we have plans. There are certain steps we need to do on Haven before we can support free to play. But that is planned for. We looked into it. It makes sense. It could be a very good way to get more interested players into the game that are very unsure, and that could be a good way to get them into the game slowly but steady, right? So we are planning to do that sometime after Epic Game release. So when we get around Epic Game release, we're gonna take a in-depth look on upcoming roadmaps, what kind of focus our majority of the players wants, and also obviously plan for stuff like that, free-to-play components, to make sure we have a good flow of growing community. All right, I'm still way behind, guys. Let me jump down and then we'll take a look. Salt Lord Smoke, thank you for the prime. If I'm missing anyone here, sorry. I'm still a streamer noob. It's the most awesome sandbox MMORPG ever created. Is he wrong though? Henrik doing his best Trump impression. Let me hear your best goblin voice. You will hear it in game, right? Smeagol. How do you feel about server capacity come TC and Unreal 5 release? Do you think we will have long queues or God forbid alt servers? So we are pushing the capacity further and further with each and every patch we have. And this one, if everything goes as planned during this final testing this week, hopefully we can deploy it next week, and then we will do additional tests to see where we're standing, more raw data to see, Have we fulfilled our goals when it comes to capacity on a sized continent as Myrland? We're happy with that, and then the next step to expand further would obviously be with additional continents. With that said, obviously we need to make sure that if we are growing very fast again, we have X amount of thousand more additionally that we can handle on top of the queue, and it makes it an annoyance again or a negative impact for our community, then we obviously need to have that plan B already in place so we can just very quickly switch over to plan B. So we are still working on the details on plan B. Obviously our previous time when we started the alternate servers, there were some issues with that. We had to rush through different steps and it didn't turn out very good. Obviously we need to fix those components to make sure that we have a proper backup this time around if we really need to start additional servers, or how we will handle much more players simultaneously. Obviously we need to see where the final number stands on capacity for Myrland. But like I said, there's also this natural capacity cap when the players think, well, there's too many players everywhere. The gaming experience isn't really smooth anymore because it's too populated. Obviously that's a natural overall cap as well that sooner or later we may run into, which means we still need to have progression to additional areas, continents, and preparation to make sure that we never go into insanity queues again, right? Goblin indeed. All right, let me catch up, guys. Scrolling through quickly here just to see if there's anything that stands out. Shiva confirmed Goblin. Sneak peek time. Maybe it's sneak peek time, right? So if I go to the jungle camp, do I need to pay taxes, Philly the White? Is that what you're telling me? In Star Galaxies, you got trophies and decorations for your houses for 1 year, 2 year, etc. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. We do plan to have stuff like that, yes. Similar to in the first game, veteran, pure veteran age rewards in different forms. So absolutely, we plan to have some of those over time, where you as an older player can access some of that candy, right? Makes sense. What's going to stop a big server from owning everything in territorial control? A few things. So first of all, if you want to protect everything in a big area, you need to have an army of people everywhere at all times, which you won't. That's the step number one. You will lose. You will lose area and control because any little group can do some hit and runs against big giants, which is really cool and can obviously promote to a lot of interesting conflicts between small and large groups. The second thing is, the larger you are, the more services and assets you own, the more expensive it is. So obviously they need to have a constant flow of generating the different currencies to maintain that. So already those two, will obviously affect heavily if we spread out too much too fast. And we've seen great alliances and guilds move up, down, left, right over months of period already during launch up till today. So, I think there will be a lot of variations for sure. It's hackers revisiting the point of interest chest. So we're expanding that as always. I think many of you guys already know that in the background we always constantly work on tools and efficiency when it comes to that, to have proper eyes. And we actually have Some news, we hired additional team of coders, senior coders, very high rated coders. That's going to help us with build a very specific system. It's not really exciting or fancy for you as a player, but for us, it's a huge improvement in many terms. You know, having security, insights, protection, and support and GM tools to a very high degree, very high efficiency, and that is obviously to make sure that you as a player have really good support and that we can protect you as a player and the game for the future. So, you know, not very exciting, as I said, in a player point of view, but obviously extremely important for the game's future and for you as a player. And like I said, obviously for us as a game to be able to grow over time in a very secured way. So it's a huge investment we are making actually by doing that, but it's necessary. We need to have that in place for Epic Game because we are ramping up things. We're taking over the world with Epic Games. Obviously, we need to make sure we have 100% control and insight in everything, right? So it's a progress moving more rapidly. Travel is essentially part of the game. That is absolutely true. What are thoughts about people exploiting the pathing of AI to avoid being attacked and killing AI through walls and batting caps? We are working on that, Tena the Ginner, so hopefully very soon it won't be a thing anymore. We absolutely have seen it, and we're trying to identify all the different cases to make sure that we can improve the system to make make sure it can't be done anymore. That's the key, right? When we do Haven free to play, I can't say when. We don't have an exact date, but sometime after Epic Game release, that's where we want to plan it in upcoming schedules. All right, let me quickly jump down again because I think I'm quite behind here again. I'm too slow. Can we get the chickaboom, eh? Changing the gamer stigma, 1 gallon of testosterone at a time. What? Can we ever talk about how beautiful his facial? All right, thank you. When we get a new chat client, so that is a little bit part of the work I just mentioned on the back end. We will have some updates there. But it's not really a new chat client. It's just, expanding what we have pretty much. Same thing with the broker over time. There are some good suggestions from you guys. Quality of life things, filters we want to update the broker with. Absolutely. Henrik, just a question from me. Did you and the team thought what map will be next and first in the future, Nordveld or Sarka? There's a few options. And I think we're gonna engage with the community a little bit of what those options means and entails, right? So we will get back to that one. All right, so do we need a second Medilli fountain in Medilli? Is that what you're saying, Fat Duck Gaming? Yes, Henrik, the Goblin tax. The Goblin tax. You don't pay the tax with money, eh? Let's see how far am I from the bottom. Mercy but wise, thank you for the subscription. 6 months. Thank you very much. Can you make flagstone weapon weight around 2 kilograms? It's stone and people at 200 ping legit can't parry you spammers. We have to look into that. when we put music instrument in the game. At latest, along with the Bard Music Magic School,
Oh my
where you will be
God.
able to play instruments in a fun way, but also attach, effects and magical powers to those elements. John Tiddy, thank you for the donation. The graveyards were bigger and more interesting in the first game. Any plans to expand on them? Skeletons more than just Walking Dead. Also, when dogs in Teen Realm. Love the progress so far. I'm not sure they were much larger actually. We used them as a reference, and we refined them, made them look much more beautiful. And we have, pretty much the same opponents in them as they were in the first game. But yes, we are missing some wandering dogs in the city parts. That's true, and maybe that will come later. And the graveyards are not meant to be too much of the, when it comes to depth of, it's the first journey, right? New players, anyone can go there very quickly and easy, get on your feet, right? But obviously we want to promote the next step and deeper out in the world, sometime shortly after mastering the graveyards. So I'm not sure we're gonna add a lot more content to the graveyards, but we do plan to add a lot more dynamic spanners, points of interest, and dungeons spread out in the world with more risk reward over time. We can expect pole armors to be in the game. Do we want them already? We will put up a poll on what weapon group type we want next, right? Did you hire coders or did you outsource it to a vendor? It's actually some old friends to me that I know have been working with some really good senior coders. And we met a few times over the years and discussed various things and projects. And we found a pretty good fit so far on one of the projects we need for making sure that we expand our backend system in an efficient way without stealing the pure game development coders that are already busy with TC and those stuff. So far we're looking at a cooperation setup between us, how they can, help us work with those areas without us sacrificing any game schedule development. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's time to move on here. Let's me find where the hell do we have it. Got a little sneak peek, eh? Got a little sneak peek. Shit, I thought I was scrolled down, but holy shit, it just keeps scrolling. Sorry guys, I'm way behind. I will jump down now. Alright, I'm catched up, finally. Alright, let's see. Any news on fist weapons? No news. So like I said, we have a few different groups, and we think the best thing to do is to ask you, right? Let the community pick what group would you like to see next, in a similar manner as we're doing with the next upcoming Magic School when we are fully done with the current work. All right, let me show you guys a little bit of our work in progress content that are also coming for TC patches. I'm just gonna find what I'm talking about. So this is work in progress. So, and obviously gonna see that because it doesn't have any textures or materials at this point. Oh, where the hell do we have the... All right. So we got a Campadon, right? Campadon. And obviously we... Campadon gonna be the most powerful creature that are carrying heavy goods. So obviously we need that going for TC, right? Holy moly. So here's yeah, we thought how can we make it more scary or you know ready for battle. So we thought trying some you know dangerous, life-threatening parts on the armor gear. So I thought let us try some tusk blades. So we put those blades on. First, my reaction was is it too much? Is it a good way to promote the danger on the tusks? But then when I let it melt a little bit, you know, it may be cool. What do you think, guys? What do you think? It's still in a pretty early work in progress, so there's some time to tweak things. But I think it's pretty cool, actually. Badass, love it. Wicked job. That's awesome to hear, guys. The art team gonna be happy when they hear that from you guys, because they're always nervous. Like, Henrik, what do you think? Are they gonna like it, or you know, do we do too much with the tusk blades, or you know, they're always extremely you know, detail oriented, and always have high passion to deliver the best models you know possible, and they always are nervous when it comes to the community feedback, because obviously that is completely rating their work, right? So it makes me happy, and it makes them even more happy that you like the design so far. So that's awesome to hear, guys. Thank you. Yeah, it looks really badass. Obviously, we always try to take some inspiration from some cool movies that we've seen in the past. We were a little bit inspired by the elephants from Lord of the Rings and how they gear them up. Pretty cool design, we thought. So we tried to find different cool inspiration and then try to make our versions, right? So yeah, I'm glad you like it. I'm gonna show you so this is from the back, right? So again, things get so complicated when you add armor, gear, bags, mountables, multiple mountables, wagons, etc., and everything needs to work dynamically. And that's a huge challenge. As soon as everything starts to grow and we multiply these components that can, you know, attach to a creature, bam, it explodes very quickly. So it's also a huge challenge, right, to make everything fit together. So we try to make a somewhat heavy design armor. So we're gonna have all the different groups, right, from light, medium to heavy armor gear, and we're trying to make an armor that makes sense, that you can sit on it, right? Because again, how do we handle if we need to have saddle versions, without saddle versions? Does it look ugly when you run around with it with a saddle, but use it as a combat pet or something? You know all those combinations, right? So we try to find the right way. And this so far is a fully mountable tank armor version without any interference. So you can sit here, 1-2 people, without, you know, breaking the armor gear. We don't have to have a ugly looking saddle or stuff like that, right? So it actually works really good. And the company is you know, one of the larger creatures that we actually want to put a turret, a little wagon piece structure that you can put on them, which actually would allow you to walk on that wooden turret or whatever we call it. So if you fit there, you fit there. That could mean if you fit 3 players or 4 players, you could be 4 players while you move around. And this is the same system that we build for our ship systems in the future. So it's really cool how we can build a dynamic system that can fully be utilized in more than one feature. So now when we add a multiple dynamic mount system, we actually unlock function for the ship system in the future. So we don't have to, you know, completely build a whole new system to allow you to transport players on a ship, for instance. So it's really, really exciting that we're taking those steps forward as well. All right, let me show you what we got more. We got this little baby. So if you stand on it, does that mean you can chickaboom with Ele from a campo? I'm so excited. Yeah, so as long as you have the walking rules, if you stand on a ship, on a house, on a turret, or a creature that have potentially a turret thing, then yes, those rules should apply correctly, right? What the... Right, so yeah, you can see that. So this is our power, right? And again, we're trying to make it fierce as a chickaboom. And what's cool, I think, so when Adria was discussing some of the design intention here, he tried to incorporate their strength attribute. Like so this shore power have a a quite tough tail, right? So you thought, well, why not give that a little punch? And obviously we have the horns. So shore power. But yeah, it's cool. I like it. Do you like this one as well? Too many spikes. You think it's got too many? Too many spikes. Has a bit busy. Looks cool to me. So is this more a mixed version, or what am I reading here? Looks good. Just enough spikes. Where ankles though? Need more cowbell. My fiance says she will call off the wedding if I don't tell her when Pet Armor goes live. Please help. Logically, the spikes on its headpiece would interfere with it moving its head around. So some of the angles, obviously doesn't allow you to see everything correctly, right? Let me show you from behind. So obviously we make sure that logically they work, We always make sure that you can move tails, you can move the legs, you can move the head without killing yourself, right? The angle may not show you that here correctly because it looks like it's slick on the back, right? But as you can see a little bit more here from the direction, there's a lot of space to move your head heavily. So, they all work physically. They can move their limbs without poking themselves, right? Or, such. We don't have the females yet. Obviously, we enable female versions with the breeding system. But you will have to wait for the breeding system. I'm digging it. Looks awesome. So it still looks like majority, this is an approval from you guys. Majority think it looks nice, cool. Nothing really we hate that we should change. Like layers, soft clothes to sit, the chain mail over, and then the armor on top, the chainmail. Good details. Yeah, exactly. We try to have those layers so it makes a little bit sense and it looks nice with the contrast. Why not pull it? We work today maybe. I mean, sure, we could pull it, I guess. It's hard to... I get the feel at least that the majority think it's a, it's a stamp of approval. I could just for the fun of it make a quick poll just to see if we have all right. Vote. Cast your vote. 1 minute. A quick vote. Just to see where we are looking at here. And again from front. I think it's cool. Because remember, it already has a lot of horns, right? And we just enforces them. We strengthen its current attributes. That's the key, or what we're going for, right? How do you vote? There should be a poll, vote option here in the top. What about the new horse armor? Yes, we actually, so this is the thing. The armor type you're seeing now is the same type for all the creatures. And we're gonna apply it on all the creatures, including the horses. You're actually gonna see this on the horses also. Henrik, I want more spikes. What the heck, dude? Oh shit, sorry, did I forget about that one? Perfect, don't touch. 1. Pretty good then. I'm pretty happy with that result. It's quite a strong winner. And second, I'm fine with it. Let's go. So obviously put those two together. We only have 2 bows that are too much tail spikes and too much spikes in general, I guess, on the head. And those were, yeah, so a pretty dominant win. I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm sure the team gonna be pretty pleased with that. On 170 votes. Yeah, some people don't know where the vote option is. I don't know, it depends on what platform you are using when watching the stream. I know Twitch can be a little bit deluded with stuff like that. Making different creature armor will have all different books. Yeah, there's different armor skill for each creature. But alright, so that's that one. Pretty happy with that one as well. Let's see, we got one more little... What do you think about this little baby? This little baby. I'm not sure exactly what the skill distribution at this point. I don't think...
Oh my God,
I'm not sure.
Another one.
I will have to check before I say anything. Could have more spikes. Hell yeah, love it. Nice one, badass. Is that Cinemorph? A little vibe. I can see it. I can see it. We need Tagmatonama. Love. More spikes. Nice, nice. Bigger spikes on the front. One bigger one, eh? Awesome looking. Awesome. No armor on tail. No, no. So this creature not really using its tail as a main weapon, right? So that's why it isn't... We are not enforcing... We're not strengthening its tail because it doesn't really use it in that way, right? So that's the key from the design team, that we try to look at the creature and strengthen its attributes in a cool fitting way. Do you see what I mean? Not enough spikes. Spikes are not part of armor. I like it. Yeah, that's pretty cool as well, right? So the actual creatures pieces, their armor room around it, right? Can we add spikes to a keep? If that's what you want, we can always add some decoration spikes. Add spikes on the elbows armor. Hunters get horns at elder. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like some animals having spiked armor. I just hope it's not every animal that gets them for variety. Yeah, like I said, I remember that on some things in the old game we added too much spikes on machineries and such, and you know, we want to be careful, right? Not stepping down that rabbit hole. So like I said, we try to enhance the current creature's attributes, if that makes sense. And I think this is a cool variation where it's just packs it on its soft spot and let the spikes, you know, reach out between the armor pieces. Tagmaton, it's coming, it's coming. Like I said, we're going through all creatures with this armor set. So again, do you see the pattern? If you look closely on the design on the armor and compare it with this one, And this one, you see that it's the same type, right? The theme is the same. So it's a specific named heavy armor type. And so it's like this, if you imagine it's the same craft, the same smith that gets the order to, okay, now make this armor for my wolf. Now make it for my horse. Now make it for my elephant, Campadon. And it's the same type, right? So it's just one type out of obviously many to come in the future. And you will have the light versions as well eventually. So this is the first type of armor that we distribute on all the creatures, including the horses. We weren't 100% satisfied with the horse armors, and we also noticed that the community is also a bit mixed on some of the horse armors. So we decided that we're gonna make this one as well, this type for the horses. So we may actually even replace the current one with this one if you are fully happy with this new version. It doesn't add damage to its attack. No, it only gives it defense values. I don't have the bear armor, unfortunately, to show you at this point, but you know, a lot of these are in motion in the works, so I can show you obviously more over time in upcoming streams. You're showing a lot of things. What is actually into next week patch at the end? I'm lost now. So these things are work in progress. Yeah, these one are not making it for this next patch. It's already planned for next week, as I mentioned. So we're getting close to deploying that patch. And that patch includes a lot of important fixes, polish, some quality of life that you have requested. Some very important server capacity functions going in. We have the 2 magic groups in elementalism going in, controlling the weather and aim movement controlled spells group. And yeah, we have the mounts that I mentioned before. 2 players on 1 horse function is going in as well. And I think we have some bags. Some bags is going in as well, a pack of bags. So there, it's quite the mix going in this next patch, planned for next week, if everything goes as planned. Those blades need to add attack damage to Campadon. Yeah, it does make sense, right? If it does the horn attack, obviously having very deadly sharp blades, could make sense that it could add a little bonus, but we don't have that function for armor pieces at this point. We only have defense effect value. And obviously along with some of the spells, you know, we're getting updates on AI, points of interests and gear now over time. Some of the spells coming also affects heavily pets. Slowing them down, immobilizing them. So you will also have more options to counter pets. You know, if that's something you need. We have bags and a turtle. I think they were just finished as well, actually. More spikes, please. So which one was your favorite of these armors so far? I mean, it's the same type of armor, right? So it should be recognizable that, yeah, it's that type, right? And I think they did a pretty good job. You can recognize the pieces pretty good, right? And the layers of soft chainmail to plate pieces. Obviously, you're gonna be in shock when you see the materials. It looks stunningly really realistic armor pieces. So obviously it's gonna look much more badass when you see the materials, but you can see the shape, right? And we're quite happy with the shape. Will pets get a weapon slot to upgrade their damage? Chronite blades on those tusks. So not at this point, right? As I mentioned, we only have support to affecting your defense values with armors. We don't support affecting your attack at this point. But down the road, you know, some of it makes sense. Like you said, you know, the tusks having blades, right, and attacking with the tusks makes sense that could have an effect, right? Are we getting any pet armor this patch? Are we getting the Mulva armor or not? My memory is failing on me. Shit, I don't remember. I have to check. We're getting a pack of bags. That's for sure. I think it's the Mulva, Campadon, and yeah, a few other creatures that we have bags for. There will be pets nerf. As I mentioned, there will be spells that do specialize in gimping pets. So there will be more options for players to actually counter pets in different forms. Do you dye your beard? No, I do not. We're always looking into the overall balance when it comes to combat weapon groups. Again, looking on weapon groups or specific weapons that are never used and those that are heavily popular. And I think we have a pretty good constant plan on how we will get more variation, as good balance as possible, without just heavily going in, nerfing, buffing, and going, you know, back and forth and making it frustrating for the players. We'll learn that the hard way. So we have a little bit more sensitive or careful approach this time, where we try to, you know, get as good balance as possible. We are fully aware of, you know, the current identifying the metas, the builds, what people think that are more heavy into PvP. So I'm pretty sure we have all the data in a very solid spot. But obviously the step to improve things and move forward is what we need to be careful about, and do that in the right way, so we don't move in circles. Agree that Campadon, how is it now, is pretty OP with armor, but it does not even close to 80 damage through steel. I mean, they also slow down, right? They do slow down if we put heavy armor on them, so their speed gonna be hit. And it also affects carry abilities and run speeds and mounts effects. You look majestic. Thank you. So that is also obviously an important balance part. When you do choose to make them more tankable, they will also lose their speed, agility, and carry ability a bit. Obviously, Campadons are one of the most important carry pets, and it will be a key component for TC, when you will have to carry a lot of heavy goods if you don't want to be an army of horses, that is. Has there been any progress on the thievery system? No, it's pretty much on hold. So the design and everything is finished. We have the backend system already from the first game. There's only a few main additions and changes we're going to do this time around. So it's quite a controlled project. We have it pretty good under control, but we still have to obviously distribute the coding work on that. And we won't do that until we fully finish with our current roadmap, to make sure we secure those steps, right? Speaking of points of interest, is the Southeast getting points of interest love? Yes, absolutely, yes. As I mentioned, I worked a little bit on the side on everything to map out the entire world, and there will be a huge overhaul of implementations of dynamics. Certain new types of dynamic spawners are gonna scare the crap out of you. And there will be some cool hotspots And just in general, when you travel the world, you're gonna face a lot more interesting encounters, from small threats to high threats. In regards to competence, big HP bar, will special arrows be better piercing damage for these types of armored animals? So we are getting different types of arrow types later on that will obviously have different impacts on their defense values. What's the role of the horse now? Direwolves have more HP, look more agile and harder to hit. Seems like horses are not going to be the mounted choice. Yes, so horses still have the best overall speed and overall stamina management in high gears, and gain stamina in second gear, as you know. So for still the most efficient way of going across the world would be a horse. The other creatures doesn't really compete in that area. They compete in other areas, you know, short, quick sprints, as you say, may have more hit points, so maybe more agile, but many of them will have major impacts depending on your gear and weight. So if you are big and have heavy stuff, armor, they will be heavily impacted, which a horse won't. So I would still think, and that's the goal, right? We still want to make sure there's a main market for horses to be very efficient traveling around the world. You have you can have good gear on it, you can have good carryability, and it can carry you without major penalty, right? If you want to go wolf riding, you have to specialize your character more to be efficient. If you're a large Thursar with heavy armor, it won't be effective riding a wolf, for instance. So, and that's the goal, right? We want to make sure that horses always have a strong place in the world. But now you have a lot of options, and depending on your style and character and size and weight, you may have some interesting options as well to throw around with. We are gonna get Lictor Wings again, yes. I can't say when at this point. The zombie pop-ups break immersion, dynamic roaming, random pop-ups. Why would a zombie crawling up from the ground break immersion? I don't follow that. Really. But yeah, like I said, there will be different types of encounters in interesting ways over time, and more to populate the world, making it exciting and dangerous to travel. But it will also obviously be able to learn where there may be more safer routes to take depending on what you're looking for, right? Some pets are too slow already as it is and cannot catch up to Alverns. Would there be balancing to make sure that you can't cheese tamer pets easily? So that is obviously, you know, a huge thing as well. There will always be people that think, you know, pets are too powerful and they should be more minimized, and then obviously there's the other side that think they are quite not as useful, and like you said, many of them may not be fast enough to be efficient to be used. And this entire picture can't ever really be 100% perfect balanced. It's impossible, and also because the players have completely different view on it. One may think they are underpowered, one may think they're overpowered, and so on, right? So what's important for us is to make sure there's interesting, exciting, different options and tactics for countering them, but also obviously make use of them. There may be some pets that are not very useful, they may be too slow, but they may have other strength and areas that they can be used for. Some may be better in PvE, some may be better for carrying stuff, some may be better for having special abilities, and some may be very good at PvP, right? So and that's the goal. This is a sandbox MMORPG. This game is not only for one play style, right? And that's the challenge, because we know obviously that many of you guys have one style in particular as your favorite gaming experience mode online. And obviously you want to protect your field, right? And you want to make sure that shines. And that's perfectly understandable. And that's our very huge challenge, to make sure that all of them have exciting options and shine, and you know, they may work efficiently or poorly depending on the situation and circumstances. And that's just how it is in a complex sandbox game, depending on wherever you go in the world, location, underground, in dungeons, around cities. Everything changes quickly, right? Depending on the circumstances and numbers and what's going on. So shine on a tiny dance. So obviously our goal is to make sure that we offer that whole spectrum of options, and we do our absolutely best in making sure we don't release things overpowered. It's safer to release them underpowered, underperforming, and then slowly over time we can always nudge them so we see some use getting out of them, trying to follow some of the intended design we set up for them. So I hope that makes sense, at least. And plans to reduce living time for pets. So we obviously plan to add animal tamers and breeding, right? Which absolutely ties into that. So you can train pets in different ways without not only using dummy training setups. Indeed, thank you. Then how did elementalism get released like this? You mean underpowered? Many of the spells are underpowered. Well, it's exactly what I said. We want to make sure they are not overpowered, and that we, you know, safely can put them in position over time instead. There's only a few spells that are used currently because they are sometimes effective, but not close to ecumenical effective at these points due to the nature of how they're used, right? Because they're real projectiles. They're flying, you can avoid them quite easily if you know what's going on. So and yeah, you know, that's a challenge. But like I said, we aim to make sure there's a lot of options over time, and the different groups offer some different gaming focus, I would say. This one, for instance, affects TC sieging quite a bit, which other groups doesn't. So that makes this one different. Propulsion spells are generally quite ass. Yes, we have seen that. We were hoping there would be some low-end PvE usage, but no one is using them. So we're actually nudging them a little bit to see if we will get a little bit more usage for those in this next patch as well. Propulsion spells should deal more damage than ecumenical. Yeah, like I said, we actually bumped them in this patch. You're gonna see quite a few of the propulsion spells going up in damage, as yes, they are easier to avoid, and you know, they are projectile flying, and also making sure they are a little bit more efficient in PvE also. So we actually buffed them a little bit. You're gonna see that in this next patch as well. Could be that we need to strengthen the mobility up slopes on mounts, because we also need room for ligators, which actually have one of their strength is agility in slopes. So yeah, we may have to look into that a little bit. That riding horses or current creatures may have quite the effect moving up steeper slopes, making it a little bit more efficient on ground, on foot. And then of course there may be some creatures that have that strength. They are still more agile up in slopes that horses may not be as effective in. All right, let me. I think it's time to move on to this little one. Let me start the stuff before we sign up. Oh, sorry. Right, so I started a sign up for the giveaway, so you can type !MO2 to have a shot at it. Can you show white bear armor? Not yet, I'm afraid, not yet, but soon. Advanced search on the market, please. Yes, it's on our list. It's one of those quality of life functions that we fully agree on. We can have some better filters, search functions for trinkets and so on. Happy to hear about proportions buff. Can I ask that the elemental debuff are the main thing to get buffed? It's cool if it's better to soak and then freeze a target for maximum effects as opposed to just more. I agree that there may be a little bit disconnection in the balance when it comes to combined effects, making it not really worth trying to do that more elaborated, skillful tactics. I agree. And obviously succeeding with more elaborated tactical components should obviously have a reward, right? Making it worth committing to such combinations. So I agree, there are a little bit room for that for sure. But we want to be careful now. We have a lot of big important stuff on our plates that we are preparing for. We have an upcoming public tests server set up along with TC. So we don't want to go into too many areas at this point in time. We want to be very focused on TC especially. Let's ritualism made more viable. So when we deliver the final group for elementalism, we plan to spend some time on the other schools, spiritism, necro, and ecumenical. There's a few things we want to add and tweak and change before we are happy with those, and then after that we move forward again.
Oh my god, another
Oh
one.
my god.
Another one.
X-Files, thank you for the subscription. 30 month. Looking forward to next update. Just wanted to say thanks with the test server. Please take your time. Everyone wants it to be thorough and as best it can be. Thank you very much. And yes, I think we all agree that obviously we are long overdue with TC compared to our original plans. But I also think that most in our community understand why it was necessary. And that yes, key is now to deliver persistent, solid content and patches and features so we can enjoy them when we deliver them rather than anything else, right? So we are very committed to that.
Oh my god, another one. Another one.
Sentinel field. Thank you very much. X. Wait, yeah. One moment. All right, Taurus TV. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate it. When will we see a melee patch? Revamped animation. News. So obviously we're quite happy with the core, right? So we're going to be very careful now so we don't wreck up the whole thing that people are here for, right? But yes, absolutely, we have a lot of plans for moving melee footy forward, right? We have the special moves, a whole new system that allows you to do more tactical moves with all the weapons in the game. So you get more options and tactics there as well. And we have multiple weapon groups also on the horizon. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we pick the right things and order of things. So we want to, like I mentioned it before, we want to open up that discussion on our community to allow you to, these are the areas and these are some of the options. Help us and vote and pick what you would like to see first. And that will obviously help us to put together the upcoming roadmap. So you will have that coming sooner rather than later. I can't say when we're getting swimming pets. Really cheesy losing a crab from a naked swimmer. Indeed. But we need some AI swimming components, and we will try to make it happen. What other pet armors have been shown off? So in this stream I only showed the current one we are working on for the Camperons. And we had oops, wait. We're not done with that yet. So yeah, Cameron Shore Power and the Lizard. We have a few more close to finished and finished. We have the Mulva armor, for instance. So it's work in progress on multiple ones. The Holy Fool. 12 month. Thank you very much. Archer is quite OP. Any thoughts on that? So archery is mounted archery is quite effective, right? Both for PvE, and there is obviously good use for PvP with mounted archery. Is that what we're referring to, that you think mounted archery is OP? Because obviously on foot, anyone coming up close, you know, it doesn't work anymore, right? PvE up close again doesn't really work that much. In teams, yes. Pulling support, yes. Mounted archery, yes. Fighting other mounted mages, yes. But it's also the only areas where it shines, right? A lot of people love to play ranger styles, ranged tacticals, and they can't fully. They have to combine with melee weapons or only run around on the mount. And now since you can very effectively dismount and counter that style heavily, and also, you know, obviously use the longbows on foot, on mounted, it's absolutely much more imbalanced now. And it's still missing a few components to let those that enjoy playing a fully ranger style to tap into that. So I wouldn't say it's very OP. I don't think the majority of the community say that is the case anymore. Freaking love this game. Just spawning cranies to get a horse, and my melee incapable Alvarian is jumping onto every roof right now, trying to get away. This is too fun. Who is Farmer Joe? That is Sebastian, our lead coder, veteran coder. MA sucks because the horses have no real armor, otherwise it would be fine. Yeah, so like I said, I don't think the community think archery is OP. I think actually the majority think it's lacking a little bit options. to be more fully wide and enjoyable. And that is true. We are getting special moves for archery as well, which will hopefully give those players... It's not lol. Yeah. I think that more players will enjoy that style when they can more fully play. I mean, I've heard a lot of veterans taunt their new players. Put your freaking bow away. We're footies now. What, are you crazy? No, I'm a ranger. Put your freaking bow away. You know, it's sad to hear, but it's a little bit true, right? And they may get some nice, interesting options to actually be more dependent on archery, even on footy, using special ability moves. You know, having parry abilities, you know, quick draw and split arrow shooting, stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting. I think a lot of archer fans gonna, you know, look forward to that content with the special moves. Exactly, watch Bowden vids. I watch a lot, guys. I know more than you think. Even though I don't have as much time to actually play the game, I do kind of semi-play it by watching you guys at first hand from different levels, both in-game and on streams, right? And yeah, I hear a lot of things from pros and noobs. Veterans and noobs. We need fletching, yes, eventually. Pairing with bow won't help except in group play. For the same reason, mages are put on defense and unable to do anything else. Would be much better if archers could do a trip move and keep distance in the first place. Navy, that depends on how the parry ability will work, right? If you can parry counter a quick shot, like I said, we're gonna add, then obviously it can be quite deadly up close as well, right? Depends on the implementation and balance and how that works, obviously, and that's something we're gonna test a lot. But I hope that we're gonna bring a little bit more love for those that really wanna tie into a pure archer ranged style, and we're gonna quick swap along with that. So we will see, right? We are looking to test quick steps. It has a big challenge and some issues tied to it, and that's why we don't have it so far in the game, because we need more time to experiment with that function on the network side. And when we have the time to do that, then yeah, maybe we can add some of those ability moves as well. That obviously also adds one of those options, right? Little White, promote GMR says, the Lord and Savior. All my pets are named after his holy GM tickets. That's awesome to hear. I know our GMs are doing a hell of a job. They are working hard to support you and help with the game. And they do everything they can with the tools we have. And the tools are lacking. And that's why I mentioned that before, that we actually hire external senior coders to help us build specific systems that are easier to, you know, put on the side without having to educate them completely fully into the whole game development system with the network and so on. So that's a good option that we can actually you know, develop with partners without too much struggle and downtime from our gameplay developers, right? Today I'll be sleeping as a baby, knowing that once there will be Ranger archetypes in MO2. Settle lunch. You're not alone with that. I have surprisingly many reaching out. For the God of Love, allow us to be more of a deep Ranger style. Obviously, it's a popular class in many MMOs, right? And it's a little bit different than Mortal Online for its obvious limitations and reasons currently. But yeah, I think it will have more depth and options that will hopefully reward skillful archers in a new way, so they can depend more on that style. CFK, so yeah, when it comes to questions like reports, in-game issues, obviously the procedure is to contact the GMs in-game, and if that isn't sufficient, there is a outside on our website support contact form you can sign up for. And we have a policy to always respond within 24 hours if nothing is, missed or something specific happened. So that's standard procedure at least. And as I mentioned before, we know we struggle with some of the support handling cases due to our systems being lacking or various reasons, right? And that is why we decided to expand our team with additional backend developers that are expanding on exactly this system to make sure that we can expand. GMs and staff can handle any support question in-game much more efficient, and we have a much better pipeline of identifying and following that. So, it's going to be a huge difference. We have a very nice design on that whole system that is being worked on. So there will be a difference. It will be a huge improvement. But for now, we still have those procedures to go about. You can also obviously contact GMs on our Discord or our community manager, and they will do their best in also trying to make sure there's nothing dropped on our end. Right, I'm gonna make the giveaway in 1 minute. If you just tune in !MO2 and then we're rolling it. Can you explain why GMs don't help the player base when bugs are happening? Benny-Kinis, a little bit like I just said, right? So we are fully aware we identify the main issues, right? We identify where players may suffer, where the GMs suffer because they are held back by systems that aren't simply good enough. And that's obviously on us as a company, as developers. So we identified all the weaknesses and issues in our systems. We have hired new senior coders that are working on exactly this to expand it and fill those holes that we identified. So it's not really that our GMs don't help the player base. They actually do, and they do their best they can, and they go at great length in trying to help the players if there's bugs involved. Unfortunately, there are players that try to abuse some of this and claim things that are not really true, or there may be different incidents that simply waste a lot of time for our GMs. And then, there are some things that we can see and confirm that goes against what have been claimed. So there are many different cases that makes it, hard for us. We can't just blindly help someone based on words, right? We need to have a procedure, a logical procedure to make sure this happened, this is what we should do, and this is how we help and confirm things in step to protect the integrity in the game and the players, right? But like I said, there are weakness in our systems that makes this hard to do at all times, which obviously can, come at a bad experience for a player, depending on what that case is. And that's exactly what we say. It's not acceptable, and we can't allow that to happen, moving forward in the future, especially with Epic Game release, influx of new players, growing population. We can't have a negative view on certain bugs and issues we handle poorly. That can't be the case, right? So that is why we are expanding the team in this area to make sure that hopefully when that system is operational, you will then say, great, finally support and can help me, or, anything that may have gone wrong or happened can be handled and covered in a good way, so everyone are happy again and not get a bad gaming experience. That's the goal, right? All right, it's time to do the giveaway, guys. And allow for the footy anytime soon. Yeah, so it's planned to do this huge special ability system after Epic Game release. I mean, there's so many additional features, weapon groups, I mean, that list goes on, right? And we're gonna make sure we're gonna allow you to vote for them. If you pick when it comes to combat related options, obviously if you pick the special moves, then that's the one that goes first on that list, right? If you pick something else on that list, we may pick that one. But I'm guessing that the majority of combat players will pick that one because it's a big expansion moving forward for footies, right? Right Guy Games, thank you for the donation. Any pet point balance coming? Why does a Belbus take more pet points than a pet 3x worse than it? Would it make Meta more interesting with the pet adjustment? There may be some pet costs imbalance, yes, that we may update in upcoming patches. I can't say for sure, but yes, I know there are some that doesn't fully make sense based on their value that should get an update, absolutely. So it is on the list, it's just that it's not highest up on the list currently. Well, if the gyms couldn't even be bothered to view the evidence, what assurance do we have they will be bothered to use the new tools to take action? After all, they don't take actually period without evidence. So we do evaluate anything given to us, obviously, from the players. If a player brings to us a concern, an issue, an abuse, anything of that nature that is a negative impact for the game and its players, then obviously we take that seriously. We have a procedure for that as well. There's a hierarchy if it may be a newer GM rank, that they push it forward to a higher, more seasoned GM. And then at some time we may require a code review on it or something like that. And then obviously it needs to go to the development team. So we have a structure for that as well. And like I said, our internal setup procedure for this is that we absolutely always have to obviously go through your tickets, your reports, your content. That's step one, right? To gather information, what's going on here, and then to see what are our rules and procedure, how can we help, what can we do, how can we confirm things by taking the next step. We do like with the communication tools in terms of, we have had many cases where we've got reports and the GMs have responded after a while, and the person that made a report didn't even notice that response because the chat is being spammed, and then bam, one of those messages was a response from a GM. Obviously that's again on us, right? If we don't have an efficient way of communicating from support to players, so the players may miss something or even the GMs may miss something, that's not really good, right? So that's one of the parts that we are working on along with this new system, to make sure that communication can't be missed. It's confirmed in a separate setup, separate window or new system. And not only that, we have a whole system that opens that interaction between the player and the GM. So everything is logged in the back end in a new way, where anyone in the team that have some responsibility behind making sure our support is always moving forward, is always getting improved, and they are very keen on identifying weakness or areas that make us lose players or getting disappointed players. That's really bad, and our goal is to make sure we have one of the best player support interaction in the industry. Obviously that's a huge goal for us, and we're gonna get it eventually, is the goal with this system, is the start. So with that said, these staff members have a very easy access to see everything that's going on when it comes from the player interaction to the GM interaction, so they can help identifying this happened, this is how we dealt with it, this was the action we took, without having to ask people, obviously, or dig into logs that are in different locations, and it takes a long time, it's inconvenient and a hassle. And in some cases, worst case, we have to ask a coder to pull something up for us. That's not practical. That doesn't work, and we can't scale up quickly with that, right? So with this robust system that I'm talking about now, you're also going to have a rating review, right? So depending on how your experience was, we're happy with the interaction, we're happy with how we supported you or respond to that, you'll be able to rate that interaction, and we get that also logged into our system. So obviously we have monthly updates in meetings. How is the support looking? What's the view from the players? Are they happy with our support agents? Are they happy with our tools? Are there any weakness or something else we need to improve? And very efficiently have all eyes from all the interaction from players to support and around it. So I hope this kind of explains why obviously support and interaction should be greatly improved and much more efficient, to make sure that you are happy, satisfied with any interaction you may have with us, and we will always do our best in trying to fulfill that. The worst part is you get different response from different GMs identifying issues. So that's one of the things that we have obviously had, as a great concern, a very important point, because obviously it shouldn't be depending on what time period you're playing in or what interaction you get with us. It shouldn't be differ, right? It's extremely important again for us that it's 100% that no matter who you talk to, you will know that this is the procedure and the support we will offer back, and that should always be, optimal. But yeah, we have had issues when it comes to covering the whole procedure of things. That okay, so in some areas, if this happens, you should act like this, and when that haven't been fully mapped out, the GMs have done the best to their knowledge or what they have had at that moment. And then again, that's on us if that is not sufficient to cover those circumstances that could allow for different outcome. And obviously over the year, there are thousands of different cases, right? So obviously covering all those cases in one go is not really possible. That list is expanding every month and being refined. But it's also, like I said, for this to work in the long run, scale up quickly and be very robust, we need to have a very sophisticated system behind this. And that's why we identify that we need to design a system that works next generation, support management, insights, very powerful tools. And that's exactly what we're building now, to make sure that when this is deployed and hopefully been running for a while, you will also see this very strong difference that it's much more robust, efficient, effective, and hopefully you will be satisfied. That's the goal, right? All right. Enough about that system. But again, it's not very exciting, I guess, for most of the players, but for us, it's an absolutely must. And I also think that you obviously appreciate to have that kind of robust support in the background, right? All right, giveaway time. I'm a little bit overdue here today. Sorry. I'm just scrolling down and then we will do the giveaway. Every GM should have the knowledge of a GM Discord and the attitude of GM RSAS. Obviously, being around for many years, gaining knowledge, experience from the team and in-game, how things works, you get better at things, right? And again, it all comes down to that. To educate a new GM that have never worked with Mortal Online, don't have a clue what Mortal Online, obviously it takes time for them to get into the systems, to get into how they should act, where's the procedures, the protocols, all of that, right? And that is, again, another very strong reason why we need to have a much more automated, robust backend system that assists a new GM to be very efficient and, even though he's new and have little experience in the game and how things works, with these tools, it should be very much easier and effective for him to actually offer you very professional, seasoned support by using these tools. So that's, again, why it's so important we get this tool in place before we release on Epic Game platform and scale up, right? But yeah, you're absolutely correct. This is an important part that we are investing heavily into right now. Show us your best goblin voice, eh? I will do that in game, in character, alright? Can get no build zones in dungeons, plants, and mob spawns. Yes, we have a lot of no build zones on all dungeons except underground worlds, which will be allowed constructions. You will be able to live under the world in cities and villages and secrets. So obviously we can't have non-building there. But yes, most dungeons and specific locations in the world already have no build zones. And there are going to be a few more along with TC. All right, giveaway. Giveaway time. Good luck, everyone. Let me find a role. Good luck. Congratulations. Let's see. Kyle the redhead. Are you here? Totally rigged. Give us whips to whip the siege whip on trolls with. Jeff Dumpster, are you still here? That's impressive. That's impressive, Jeff Dumpster. I've never seen so much negativity in my entire life. I wouldn't think you were interested in this game anymore. Quite surprising. Quite surprising. All right, let's see. Do we have... Is he here? Kali Redhead. Jeff is a troll and nothing more. I mean, after all these years, you would think that you grow up, right? And maybe mature and, you know, relax in life and see that anger and hate does nothing but destroy your own health. Most people may not know that yet, especially young people, but that's the truth. So hopefully people will relax and take it easy, you know? That was deep, indeed. Sounds like a Sith. Let's give Kyle the Redhead a few minutes before a reroll if he doesn't respond. Yeah, it's time for some more relax, take it easy sounds, don't you think? But yeah, I mean, if you're hanging in here after all these years of complaining and whine and sabotage, then obviously the game must do something right? So you may as well stop the trolling and crap talk and enjoy the ride instead, and we can have nice moment, nice discussions in here and enjoy ourselves. He plays every day, so funny. That's even more surprising. I didn't know he was playing at all anymore, since all the hate on every single post in the world, every single location in the world, he's there hating and shitting. It's crazy, Jeff Dumpster. You have to stop that craziness. You can't be in here enjoying your time and then at the same time put on a mask, the hater mask. What the hell is going on, man? What the hell is going on? It doesn't make sense. It's dangerous for your health. Please, for your own health and the future of your survival rate, relax. Split personality, is that what it is? I think after a few years you can kind of get past that, right? And kind of, you know, let's see what the game brings us, right? You know, you may not enjoy it, you may not like it, you may not agree, but we're here and we're not going anywhere, and we're gonna deliver the best sandbox MMORPG game ever. And you know, we will have haters, we will have lovers, we will have everything, right? But come on, if you're hanging in here and typing questions and doing sign-ups for the game and playing every day, you know, you may as well tell the others, I'm playing every day, but I hate the game. Don't buy it. I'm angry at the developers, but I'm playing every day. Playing every day. Biokaigeo. Holy cow, did I butcher that name? But thank you for the Prime. Appreciate it. 3 months. Appreciate it. Lovers in MO2. I love the game, just waiting to play again after murder system is fixed. I hear you. I play more and more, I can't stop. What's the saying? Action speaks louder than words. If you spending all your time in game or in chat talking to the devs, you don't hate it as much as you pretend. It's true, it's true. Action does speak louder than words, right? That is why I want the game to speak more, you know, of itself rather than me speaking of it all, right? But yeah, I think we're over it now, right, Jeff? Am I right? We're over it now, right? You know, we're past the hate reign for 5 years. We're not going anywhere. You're not stopped playing. You enjoy the game. We all know it. I think we passed it. I think we passed the craziness, right? Am I right, Jeff? Don't be shy. Sure. All right. Cool, Jeff. I respect that. I respect that. Okay, it doesn't look like Kyle the Redhead is here. Last chance. Are you here, Kyle the Redhead? If not, I'm doing instant reroll. Love the game, hate the players. You know, there's a lot of different players in there, and I'm quite sure we will not get along with all of them, right? There's no reason to sign up a second time if you already sign up. So if you already done it, you're already in the list, guys. So you don't have to write it additionally. Ranger boy, don't be that cocky now. I'm answering every single question I read and see, all right? I'm allowed to chill and relax with you guys as well. And I'm allowed to ask you questions, am I not? I think I can spare 5 minutes to enjoy my time with you guys with any discussion, right? I mean, I do think I do my best at least covering your questions. On Redhead, I could take that off your hands. When your lifts. How's it going, man? Alright, he have not responded. I do a instant roll. You can chill, Henrik. You can be even more chill if you slide a key my way. Alright, here goes. Here goes. Another one. Where the hell do I have my giveaway? There. Alright, let's go. Are you here? Everyman hero. Imagine game party system, shared XP. I mean, you already get share XP when you hit an opponent, right? Let's see. Everyman hero. Are you here? He's here. All right, we hit the jackpot, guys. Everyman hero. Yep. Can you respond to that DM? Everyman hero. And I will send that key your way. These are the most butt names I've ever seen. I mean, eventually names run out, right? And this is not a new account, so I think it's quite legit. will there be some form of mercenary system for small guilds that want to participate in TC? Oh, absolutely. Xordania. There will be a lot of interesting mercenary options for small guilds with TC. There will be so many areas of hotspots and conflicts that any small little group can have an impact in different ways in a non-stop, infinite going. And I think that's one of the cool thing with TC. It's going to bring a lot of infinite loop, long-term endgame interactions. All right, Everyman Hero, 1 second. I'm gonna send you the key. Yeah, it's time for Sebastian to... Holy shit. Sebastian needs to order some new keys for us. I only have 1 key left, guys. So, yeah, shit. And that can take a little while. Hopefully we have them in time. So, Everyman Hero, there you go. That's the key. You activate it on Steam and you got a Mortal 9 copy. Everyman Hero, are you new to the game? Or are you a veteran? I mean, there's going to be plenty of guilds that also will hire mercenaries. In the first game, we have many cool guilds that were for hire for battles. And throughout some very long running battles, we saw sides trying to buy out different mercenaries to both help defend, but also kill. So there's going to be a lot of that for sure, no doubt. I played Mortal 1. Have you played Mortal 2, Everyman Hero? I assume so, right? But that means you are quite a veteran. And plans on updating loot drop system to eliminate locking character progression behind ranged. So what part are you referring to? Those some rare book drops items on bosses and so on? Is that what you're referring to, Ranger Boy? Ranger Boy? More giveaways. I don't want to pay money. We do have 1 giveaway every stream pretty much, and I have had that for a long time. I don't know how many keys we've given away over the year, but many. I do daily. Okay, that's cool. All right, that was the giveaway for this week. I think a good idea might be to have like a safe pockets system where you can put in 2 items you don't lose on death, maybe. Get into the GMs to remove all strongholds from not buildable area next to dungeons, so everyone is equal, please. So there will be some updates when it comes to no build areas, dungeons for TC. Yes. Some of the players have been unable to log into the game due to an authentication issue. User not found. Support claims that it is out of their area of expertise. Is it a known issue at Star Wars? Can we hope to be able to log back into the game in a foreseeable future? That's a Rick. Can I get a case, an account that this happens on now? I could talk to some coders to see what that could be, if we see the connection or what's going on. I'm not fully aware that that is a broad issue we have currently. I see daily basis users logging in, and I don't see any spamming of users not being able to, so I would assume it's not a wide issue. So we would have to look at particular cases to try to see what that could be, why that could be. So Lesric, if you could make a ticket or something, or contact any of our guys, GMs should be able to report that further as well, make a task for our developers to take a look. And you gave around 70 to 80 keys over the year. At sometimes we gave 10 giveaways in one stream. We have done different cases, right? But yeah, is that it? 70 to 80. I mean, over a year, every week, I've been almost consistent, right? Every week on a giveaway. So that's 52 weeks only in 1 year, right? And then we have done some of those triple kill giveaways, 10 kills giveaways, and yeah. So you may be right. You may be right. Price. What kind of question is that? Can I suggest Jam for the raid today? He's new to the game and super excited about everything. It's fun to watch. Faithful Peppa. Maybe that's a good call, right? I mean, we have been doing raids to most of our streamers, and since, you know, it's been looping, right? So I mean, I guess we could do that. Yeah, for sure. Good suggestion. Yeah, I think I saw Jam just recently, being new to the game, and he seemed to be an awesome guy. That's a lot. We love you, Henrik. Thank you very much. You said TC have a destruction system like Battlefield 3, 4, broke walls or something when get hit. So how can you explain the Texas work? So we have a destruction system that is the Unreal destruction system, but we also need to be quite careful so you don't just make a hole in the wall and run in and that's it, right? So there needs to be this kind of gamey, a little bit unrealistic balance function in place, so you still have some defense and effort to fight and defend, right? That goes for your whole city eventually. But there will be some differences when it comes to your keep, your house, from normal watchtowers to a wall section, stuff like that, which is more easily destroyable. So what this means is that, yeah, a fully constructed building can be destroyed down in several parts. You will see the parts from the walls fly off, but you won't be able to just bypass the whole hit points and go straight for a little hole in the wall because of obvious balance reasons, right? So you kind of need to make the whole progression before you can have access to that building. However, there will be watchtowers, guard towers that will be effective defensive buildings where there will be NPCs and guards that you can hire and put there. They may also have a door to protect them there, but you can destroy the door and, you know, enter that building. And we are also looking at some specific rules for your strongholds and houses that we can utilize the same function, but obviously we need to make sure that you don't just blow up a door, easily run in and wipe everyone in there and start griefing homeowners without any commitment or consequences. So that will be more tied to if you commit to destroy a house, or, you know, get into it by committing and damaging it heavily and then eventually being able to breach the house, then obviously you've made that commitment, right? But the goal for us is to make sure that we promote interesting conflicts for guild conflicts, guild wars, dominance over area. So there's still room for those that want to be left alone, a little bit on the side. They're not in conflicts, they're not in war declarations, and they're not really gonna be a valid target for anyone just to grief them or for fun try to kill them. You would actually benefit more from having them to align with your kingdom if you live as a kingdom owner in that area. If this makes any sense, what I'm talking about here. I mean, we covered a little bit in my TC in depth stream as well that touches some of these areas. Let's see. So along with Epic Game release, we will also launch on the Epic Game platform. And looking at their estimates that we can expect, it's quite exciting. You know, obviously we didn't see Epic Games platform alone as a main source of huge amount of new players. We saw more that when we pick up where we pause things with the stress tests, beta stress test, where we see a huge interest and influx of new players based on, you know, a lot of big streamers and influencers that were having a lot of fun. We paused all of that pretty much. We got a lot of chaos, and those left. They're coming back with the Epic Game release. We're starting real marketing. We're spending a lot on that, and you know, we want to make sure that the world starts to finally know about Mortal Online too, and now it's ready to join the game. But so I have some obviously long-term contacts at Epic Games since many years ago, and they said that we can expect quite a lot of players just from launching on that platform, which is really exciting because it's growing rapidly, much faster than Steam, and they have many millions active players on that platform that are, you know, jumping on new games that are released on their platform, and you know, jumping into games. So that's going to be exciting and awesome to see as well. Obviously, what's important for us is to make sure that we can handle a fast influx of growing of the population, right? That's always been our biggest challenge, and that's why we spend a lot of time and effort in increasing the capacity on our servers. And this next patch have a big component tied to this, and that will allow us to make new calculations and see where we're standing when it comes to overall capacity volume. So that's going to be exciting as well, and very very exciting. All right, let me scroll down a little bit here. Contingency plan if the player's cap is too much for servers. Yes, we're working towards a plan B setup as well. That is a more robust setup for allowing more players to log in to the game instantly. We had a system we worked on very quickly in panic mode when we did the Steam release, which also brought quite a few issues, right? That we need to go through that case to make sure that everything is as intended and correct if we need to scale up that way. With these new mounted pets change realism if you can't only have one mounted and one attack. We're going through that balance as well. Let us raid a treasure room of tax money that a guild controls inside Blue Town. Interesting. And plans for the soundtrack to be on Spotify. I don't know the procedure actually to put our soundtrack on something like Spotify. I don't know how that would work. Something that we would have to look into. We have a pretty good list of updates that we want to add to the bounty system when we get around to do that focused work. Ranger Boy, I mean, we try to add a constant value where there's always a, you know, secured reward for the investment and risk, right? But one big part of the game is also that there are rares, there are, you know, randomness in different ways, and you can also affect that by actually getting proper trinkets that also affect it, right? So there's a market for it, there's some demand for it, and a constant hunt and excitement. Do we get it or not? And did they get it? Should we gank them and steal it from them or not? That's a big part of the game, and it's an important component, even though it may sound on the paper for a few that, well, that doesn't respect my game time because I worked hard, I killed the boss, I didn't get all of the rares, and I have to keep grinding them if that's what I want to do, if I don't want to buy it or ambush someone or whatever that may be. So there will always be a certain room of that kind of content that's intended and planned for, but there should obviously always be a certain pack of sufficient reward for that commitment. But yeah, we did put a very rare drop rate on trinkets above second tiers of value, with intention that we know that this is a game that's gonna run for many years, right? And if we flow them in very quickly now already, you know, there's not gonna be this slow progression over time when it comes to that area, and only a few things are meant to be that over time as well. And also, since we're adding eventually jewelry that allows you to refine and construct some of those things based on your content, right? Why did you take the theme of vocals from Ultra One theme song of the music? We are adding them back with the Epic Game release, Jenkins. So it's coming back. We have 2 versions of it. Well, with 1,500 average players in all eras PvP action, how will this work with 10,000 players? We fight all the time. So we only have a few hot spots, I would say, currently, right? We have a few dungeons that are populated quite heavily, a few locations in the world that are populated quite heavily, and we have some stronghold guild areas that are, you know, going close to each other to get fights going. Those are quite few numbers spread out, right? And yes, we have actually 2,000 on average and peaking around 2,500. So quite a bit more than Steam chart is showing. But anyway, yes, we have very important hotspot components being added along with TC, and that is obvious to help spread the players heavily. So Milan is quite large, right? It consumes players and AI immensely and very effectively. I mean, we have 35,000 creatures alive right now on Milan, and I don't think, if I say that, I don't think most people will think that's true, because holy shit, well, when I'm running out in the world, there are so many vast areas where I never see any creatures or AI, right? And that's true. But it shows how large the world is and how much it consumes very quickly. So obviously we need to make sure that we have enough hotspots and areas to spread out in Milan in interesting ways, so there are not only a few hotspots, because obviously if there's only one hotspot dungeon that is most hot right now, a little bit like we saw happen with the necromancy patch, it was awesome, but it also showed that obviously that dungeon was a hotspot for what, 1-2 months, and it was crazy, and most groups and people couldn't go there because it was so heavily controlled by some elite guilds, right? But obviously if we are adding 100 about 100 points of interest hotspots spread out on entire mainland. I'm quite sure they're going to be more spread out, right? And along with TC, we're getting a very important never-ending loop, which is controlled towers, or what the hell do we call them? Yeah, supply towers that anyone can capture and benefit from. And anyone else can then go there and try to capture them from them and benefit from. And we're going to add a lot of them. We're going to have, I think we are looking at around 60 or so that we're going to add on the first stress test for TC as well, to get an evaluation from you and see how that works with that amount of number and how they are spread out, and start, try to capture them and see how that works, if that's the right amount of numbers and so on. And of course, we have spawners and points of interest, dynamic spawners with different types of value and rares that we're also going to spread out heavily. So you have a lot of options to go and adventure and farm and discover things, with high challenge to low challenge, to capturing bases, the tower supply lines, stuff like that. So obviously that's going to help spread the players a lot. But yes, with that said, obviously we're looking at 10,000 players simultaneously on mainland. Then I think the player is going to feel that it's too crowded, right? It's getting a little ridiculous. So I don't think it's practical to have 10,000 players on a size continent like mainland. I think about half maybe a better spot. And I think that's also what the community kind of expressed, that they think around everything from 3,000 to 5,000 could be feel like a good spot. Quite heavily populated, but hopefully not that you can't go anywhere without running into problem. Too crowded now, lol. I think it's a little bit too crowded because you only have a few areas you heavily go to, right? So that is heavily populated. So if we add 100 more spread out locations, then I don't think it's too crowded, right? So yeah, this is something we will obviously follow the progression of this and the numbers on the stress test that you hopefully will help us and participate in. How many subs you need to stay in the game now with energy prices increasing? Roughly around 5,000 based on current sales as well. Very roughly around 5,000. So that is a very low amount. That's far below the current active player base we have. So, if not the majority of the current player base decide not to subscribe, then, we shouldn't have problems to meet those numbers, hopefully quickly. Yeah, we talked a little bit about major guilds dominating the world along with TC. Like I said, there are different balance components that makes it impractical for one guild to own everything, because they're not going to be able to defend all the areas, towers, and all of that. A small group of 5 people can quickly capture one of their base or towers, for instance, if not attended in time. Listen. Obviously, if they are defending their home base, then obviously it would be more difficult to try to squash their city, right? But there's always hit and runs and weakenings that you can do to even large guilds, that large guilds may have problems defending if they're too spread out also. So taxes will be set in your area. You will be able to affect a certain value from min max, and that will be taken on sales from services and NPCs. And that's something you as a kingdom owner, land owner, can benefit from those treasuries. So that's, in short, what you can expect from taxes. Hey Tech, remember when the game was fun? Can we do something about the toxic freaks who make this experience pointless or not? Hey Tech, what's going on, man? Do you need to move from your current location? I mean, Milan is filled with really nice, cool, awesome people. Much more than toxic people. But of course, there will also be toxic people, right? Depends on where you are, how you show yourself in the world, how you interact with people. You know, you can also create easily. You can create toxic people and you can create a lot of enemies depending on how you interact. I play undercover every now and then, and I'm very impressed how cool and awesome and nice people are to strangers. When I'm obviously playing undercover, they don't know it's me. And then, of course, every now and then you always run into some crazy man or a murderer, right? That's kind of part of the game. And if you know that and adapt to that, it's not a problem. To salute, lock effect points of interest chest. So there are two types of chests. One that can trigger loot lock because it does initiate a spawner tick, and one type doesn't. The majority of the world chest doesn't, which means it won't make a difference. But quite a few of them does. If I'm not saying the wrong thing now, but I think I'm correct in that statement. Yeah. It will always be toxic as long as the game can be treated as just a PvP game. And that's the beauty. Mortal 9 is not only a PvP game. It's so much more that it's ridiculous how much more that it is than just a PvP game. But it's kind of also known for being a pretty awesome PvP game, right? And obviously that attracts a lot of PvP Sandbox MMO players out there. But we also have a steadily growing RP community, crafter trading community, explorations, casual players, growing PvE, growing magic, growing everything, right? So yeah, like I said, I'm quite happy with our overall community interaction. It's pretty awesome, I have to say. I mean, I've seen much worse in some other online games. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy overall. That is the same as playing Tarkov to kill scabs. When can we expect enemies? Depends on your votes. Overall, I agree. Great community here, but you got black sheeps in every game. Absolutely. Every online game have black sheeps and some madness. You can't avoid that. That's just how it is. Especially when there's a lot of freedom, right? It's a mixed thing, right? With a lot of freedom and cool functions like Mortal 9, a true sandbox game, it adds a lot of depth and amazing, unique gaming experience. But it also, can obviously offer some of those unexpected situations, both for the good and bad, right? How much time is going to take to transition to Unreal 5 after TC and its fixes get released? Again, we don't have the official dates. Obviously, we have the internal dates for both TC and Epic Games, and so far we are running on pretty much on time on that schedule. We've had a steady progression when it comes in the background with a lot of the Unreal update work we need to have in place. So it's not insane time. I guess that's the only indication I can say without you know, I don't want to risk setting any dates or month at this time, but it's not extremely far away. That's what I can say so far, at least. Based on that, everything still goes as planned, that is. So I will be able to impact some of the city controlment, but you won't be able to, for instance, say that you have an impact influence over a grand city. You can't just say, I turn off the guards and I don't allow people there. If the nation is in control there, they still have the security check in place, right? You can't just turn off a nation, such as the Tynemic Empire, or, you know, that is also the base line protection for new players, like high security zones in Evil Line. And then when you leave these areas, that's when you go towards nullsec, also similar to Evil Line. And that's no man's land, right? Depending on, or if you build there, obviously it's your man's land and your rules, right? Patch this week or no? No. Plan for next week if everything goes as planned. Ranger Boy, it will be more clear after TC, I think, when we are, you know, slowly approaching just full focus on real fight transition and those steps that also are required for the Epic Game release. I don't think it's practical to say any more than that at this point. Any plans for an air bubble spell or any type of water breathing? Yes, it's one of the spells in elementalism that comes soon. All right, guys. Hitting the 3-hour mark. I tried to run 2 hours, as you know, so I keep them interesting and fresh, and we don't loop too many questions eventually, so that you also find it interesting to tune in every stream we do. All right, shall we do the raid, guys? Let's see. Shall we raid one of our new players that just joined in and seems to have a blast so far? They talk about when next patch is. Yeah, plan for next week if everything goes as planned. All right. Raid time. Yeah, shall we raid Jam Jam? I have never raided him, and he seems to be a new streamer and new mortal player and seems to getting into the game. So let's raid him then and show him some support and love, guys. So he becomes a pro player eventually. Raid some of the new players, please. Yeah, let's raid Jam Jam. He's a new player, like I said. I just saw him start the stream online, and I think he started just a few days ago. Always interesting to watch new players stream to get first-hand experience, and also how supportive you guys are. It's really awesome to see really friendly players supporting new players and new streamers and getting them around, because obviously it's quite overwhelming, right, to get into Mortal Line 2. And if you get that little support from the community, it's so much easier and effective to expand, right, and get into the game. And that's what we all want and need, right? A growing player population. Jam Jam did not pay the goblin tax. All right, all right. Not a nice dude. I think he was pretty cool when I watched him before. So let's give him a visit, right? Shall we? Let's do it. Where is my raid button? Where the hell is it? Where the hell is my raid button? There. All right. Let's do it. Jam. All right, guys. Again, thank you very much for tuning in and asking your questions and your support, donations, and all of that. It means the world for me and the team. And awesome to get some really nice positive feedback on the hard work from our artist that builds the armor for the creatures. It's really awesome. I know they are always nervous when we show those things and they watch all of your feedback. So really awesome to see that the absolute majority of you like them. That's gonna make their day and give them real nice energy. All right, so let's visit Jam all the way then and give him some mortal support and tips and tricks. You're gonna need it. He's quite new, but it seems like he's getting into it. All right, thank you all again very much and have a wonderful evening. Good night, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye bye.